And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you've got another cup of tea, maybe a bicky, who knows, maybe a sandwich, maybe dinner. It's always dinner time. I'm a bit hungry.
Unless you're in America, then it's breakfast. Or just, it's brunch, actually. It's about 11 o'clock, I think. Depends where you are, obviously.
I never expected brunch.
Yeah, okay, so it's lunch, brunch, or whatever.
Okay, we'll go with lunch.
Whatever.
I've been told off by a producer. I never used to accept brunch as a real word. Like, I was like, that's just not a word.
But then now,
now I accept it.
You accept it. It's legit, right?
It is. Sometimes you need a double sausage McMuffin.
It depends. It depends if you actually get, your breakfast cooked for you in the morning. Or because some people say to me, I can only eat a bowl of cornflakes. And, in Germany, what's considered a breakfast, or in France, is a cigarette and a cup of coffee. That's not breakfast. I want bacon, I want eggs, I want French toast, I want mushrooms, I want black pudding, I want it all.
See, I don't like black pudding. It terrifies
I like black pudding.
Melly is looking at us like, guys, why are you not being professional? Because we're hungry, Melly. Hunger holds back English commentary. She's like, yes, she does. Melly hides pretzels around her. She has one. No.
I'm allowed to talk. I'm sorry.
We don't normally allow her.
Had to remind me. Mel, you're allowed to say something. Say something. Okay, I'm talking. No. Yes.
No, yes. Pretzels. Nailed it. Perfect analysis. Right, let's get towards the games. No, yes, pretzels. And it will be... it's one of those days. WUSA up against Lucky Kuraki. You can't tell it's the final game, can you, of the day. And speaking of the other two, EPS up against Kazna. Very unexpected result. 3-0 to Evil Panda Squad. And prior to that, School Bus trashed the Leprechauns and sent them to the other side of the rainbow. Anyway, this time, Lucky Kuraki WUSA, terrible jokes aside. You right there, Ollie?
Yeah, that's good.
You good?
Yeah.
You right?
Yeah. I was giggling. It's all right. You got a good joke there.
Nice.
Take us through the lineups. It's rare.
I'll savour this one.
All right.
Take me through the lineup.
So WUSA, the German team, sitting at the bottom of the table as described before the break. I would have expected, for instance, CQQ to do a lot better than they have been. But they've been struggling a little bit. And for Lucky Kuraki, it's been really Kelly who's been amazing. He's probably one of the best players in the world at the moment, at least for the European League, actually. I wouldn't say the world, probably in the European League. There's good players everywhere. Mac Money also fantastic. But that's the good thing about Lucky Kuraki in this season compared to the Lucky Kuraki in other seasons. They have a more consistent lineup, which is what you need. But it looks like both teams are ready, so we pretty much can just run through your lineups and get this one underway. Our first map will be Cliff, triple AMX 1390, double T69 for Lucky Kuraki, and for WUSA, double AMX 1390, triple T69.
See, and you pointed out LD Nexus, and you pointed out some of the good players there. Joe, the saddest part is, for WUSA, the top player within the entirety of WUSA literally is in rank 40, and that's LD Nexus. He's the only... rank 40. That's it. It's absolutely unbelievable. They really aren't having a good season so far. That's why they're down in the bottom place. And Melly is waiting the wings as per usual. We won't be talking just about food. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Do you think this might be the chance, so we might see finally WUSA doing something?
Well, hopefully. that's
the only German team, and as a German,
yeah, of course. I'm always
you've already
trying
beaten
to
America
support
today.
my troops. Of course, but they haven't been really convincing the last match days, and it's really hard. It's like a lost vote, right?
Ouch!
No. For example, I'm not saying anything. I'm not even allowed to cheer for a single team. But of course, I want my people to do good, of course, and that could maybe the right match to show actually that they deserve being in the gold series. Yep. But Lucky Kuraki can be a tough cookie at sometimes.
Certainly can. Going to be a very hard opponent to overcome. Even just starting out on the first map, which I believe will be Cliff. Not an easy one. Takes a lot of cohesion, a lot of competence within a lineup to do. So we're going to find out if WUSA can pull themselves together. I really don't know if they can. I hope they do. So guys, let's get ready for that first map. Cliff. So, Welcome into map number 1 between Lucky Kuraki and WUSA. And in the south in red it will be Lucky Kuraki, in the north in blue it's going to be WUSA. And why don't you take us on board with WUSA to tell us what they're up to first of all?
Well, on Cliff, there's only really one option to do at the start, and that's obviously go towards the lighthouse. Pretty much with all their tanks, Killer Pit and Siege, the 2 wins, 2 tier 1s. Obviously not going to be going up there, heading right to make sure the 1-2 line is all covered off. And for Lucky Kuraki, the Polish team, Matt PL, Shock, Mac Money and Obiect heading towards the lighthouse as well. AMX39 going first. We can see if they're actually going to pick up pretty much the same tactic the last 2 teams have been doing. Denial and Denial Gaming and who was we last saw? Drilling Leprechauns push in very quickly at the beginning last time. Doesn't look like it. They're going to be staying backwards a little bit, not wanting to be as aggressive, but it might be a hard job for them to actually get in the game later on. But for me, at least, Lucky Kuraki and WUSA having the standard start.
Yeah, and LD Nexus doesn't have a direct challenge actually on that hill either, so could allow for a bit. And actually, look at this. WUSA really catching out Shock and Bishu, and McMoney's in trouble. This is a nice bit of play from WUSA. Getting a little aggressive, but not too far. Stefan, Schnitzel, QQ, and Commandante taking him low. Bishu now a 1 shot away from death, trying to back the hell out, leaving Object, McMoney, and Matt to get into the battle. QQ first target, going low, 1-2-4. He is down. McMoney claims it, and I do not believe that Lucky Kuraki might turn this one around. They are still fighting hard here, but they have such little HP. Bishu's down to nothing, but Matt, look at this guy. He's going straight in. Commandante will punish him for his aggression by taking down McMoney, and now Matt gets tracked, gets held. Stefan now from the backside, and that T69 does the damage. Object caught in the middle, covers off Matt, but gets taken down. Stefan claims it, and at the moment, Lucky Kuraki are falling apart. Commandante finally taking down Bishu. Shock will follow in suit, and now just Matt really left alive here. He's being rammed, he's being picked at, and the man in 40th place out of everyone was the one to pick it up. And Kuraki and CNNK are the last 2 standing, and the aggressive tactics from WUSA have paid off.
Really weird. Every time we've seen it from the south, pushing, being aggressive and winning. And now WUSA from the north, aggressive and push and win. And maybe that's what we gotta take from this map. We've seen draws and draws and draws. And then a team pushes and being aggressive, wins. Another team does it and wins. And then the 3rd time lucky, that can't be a coincidence.
In from a different side, very different team.
Because this is what I've been wondering, right? At the beginning, sometimes one team goes for a little bit of a sneak, tries to get a few shots, tries to get a little bit of HP. But I was thinking, what happens when one team just wants to commit and actually go for it 100%? We just seen it. WUSA have only lost QQ and they didn't even need to lose him. Obviously going to go for that cap, and looks like a strong first map for them as they do take it in probably the shortest fashion we've seen so far. Although FKK Schnitzel does decide to take a little bit of a plunge there, maybe a little bit hot. But altogether, a good victory there for WUSA, and so surprising. Brilliant. Good stuff as well. I think they get the focus fire on them a little bit better than they've done in previous games.
Yes.
But all in all, just made that decision. I thought Stefan maybe could have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
He should have blocked off Matt PL from coming on to his T69 he was supposed to be going with.
True. I think we need to watch that one back, because that was over pretty damn fast. And you can see it here. At the start, I thought Lucky Kuraki might have been the aggressors, but look at Stefan, look at Commandante peering up. Great fire initially towards Shock, changes targets. Bishu's out in the open, a little bit slower, and that T69 gets caught on the side by LD Nexus. And it is perfect focus fire. Sadly unable to take someone down initially, but the damage done was absolutely phenomenal. And then McMoney fancied his chances. He got close, but then Matt's choice to go aggressive, maybe off the back of that kill there, it could have had some potential, but they just didn't have the damage done to, I feel, warrant doing that, and he gets punished for this.
And Lucky Kuraki, they didn't have enough HP basically to deal with WUSA. Yes, they took down 1 tank, but WUSA had already done probably 2.5, 3 times as much damage, 2.5, 3 times tier 8 tanks. They only need to finish them off. But yeah, it's focus fire, and they got the shots onto
very
Shock.
impressive.
They switched very quickly onto Matt PL, and it just switching around very quickly, and it's great from WUSA.
It was absolutely phenomenal, and I called out LD Nexus earlier on. He is the better player out of WUSA, but hitting 1.8k damage in the very first map, solid performance so far. I hope to see more of that. And, this is what I wanted to see. This is the team that can compete. You know, we've never doubted the reputation that came along with WUSA. Originally, they were a team of very talented players, but they never had that cohesion. They never had that training down. They never had the, good communication. We've even said German Braid saying the same thing. They were always a little bit behind in that aspect. But no team could get to the WCG point that they got to without being a talented side. And then finally, we saw it starting to form on Cliff. But then again, in the last match, if the last match hadn't have happened where we saw a standout victory following that one-off on Cliff with the aggressive push, I'd still say overall I feel this game will be Lucky Karaki's. But if WUSA get their hopes up, maybe they start thinking, okay, well, when we communicate well, when we focus our targets, when we have great calls, we can do perfectly well. We're better. We're just as good 1v1. I shouldn't say better, but they are exactly on par at that point, really. And they showed it there. There's no need to be going for this kind of passive play sometimes, because we've seen so far the aggressive team generally does well. And the next map being Steps, though, I'm hoping we don't see what we saw on the final map of the previous matchup. There's no need for that, guys. But I'm hoping to see a little bit more aggression, a little bit more of that smart, good, cohesive play. Do you think we might get that?
I'm hoping we get that. I think these guys want to go for the win as opposed to just thinking about it tactically. Evil Panda Squad, on minds weren't so aggressive because they didn't like the map. I'm hoping that these two don't do that and actually take, for instance, the AMX 3090s and T69s, shy away from the T32s and the IS3s. And it looks like that's generally what we're getting. So double AMX, triple AMX 3090, double T69, double tier 1 standard, box standard lineup from Lucky Kuraki, and for WUSA, double AMX 3090, double T69, T32. So pretty good lineup from both teams. Obviously, Lucky Kuraki a little bit more burst potential with the AMX 3090 extra, but WUSA with a little bit more staying power, a little bit more defensive ability with the T32. But they are starting from the north, so that's hardly surprising.
And your prediction coming into this one, who's going to win it?
I think Lucky Kuraki might, but they might just be a draw as well. I think it's going to be a Lucky Kuraki win or a draw. But then again, WUSA have been pretty impressive on this map. Yeah,
and I've not been impressed by Lucky Kuraki so far. So who knows where this is going to really come down to. But we're going to find out in a couple of seconds' time, because the next map, as we said, it's going to be Steps. So, welcome into map number 2, Steps, a vast map. Looking to see who's going to maybe start chipping away at a bit of a decent lead here. Currently WUSA with one map to the good. They will be starting in the north in blue, and in the south in red is Lucky Kuraki with, well, everything to prove. Previously we've seen Lucky Kuraki being, almost undone by the likes of TCM on this map. And then obviously turning around later on, but still, this is not exactly the strongest of maps for Lucky Kuraki. But WUSA, let's see what they're up to and what are they doing so far.
The same as what Sleeplay does. I think WUSA did the same as well. I think they might have been also with the same idea. I know the guys train a lot together. He basically gets himself into a good position to try and get the cross shots on. But as you can see on Lucky Karaki's side, they have absolutely nothing there. So LD Nexus can't use his great position, which has worked against Virtus Pro. They should have actually won that map when they did put the tank there last time, but they couldn't quite close it out. And Lucky Kuraki won't be using that one. The last time Lucky Kuraki played this map was against the Nile Esports, and basically they won it via that War of Death against Butcher, who just basically decided to turn a corner without putting his tier 1 first and got caught out, and pretty much it was game over from there. But they're not going to be using the same tactic, because it really was one of those tactics you can only use once. Instead, going for what a lot of the other teams do, and that's push up towards the northwest side of the map.
Yeah, correct. They're in the tier 1 heading over, making sure it's all clear. Last time, Magus was the one waiting for them over by these little hills right here. Certainly made it tough work. Hopefully this time no one waiting for them. And now we're going to have to wait and see if they can really start pulling this through. The 1390s have headed ahead. Bishu seems to be backing away a little with, I believe that's Object behind him. So, smart play overall. But WUSA, are they willing to make much of a move here?
I think they've got plenty of time. I don't think they really want to go for a move right now. FKK Schnitzel shoots across and maybe just tries to hit a couple, but it's blind shots from here and really nothing else. Killer Pit starts to make his way around, and maybe WUSA want to go for the cap as opposed to really going for anything else. But if you have to say it, a tier 1's Radler and a T32 is the full brute. QQ keeping the cap basically all crossed off, making sure Kuraki can't be too aggressive there as he is in there in the tier 1. And he goes forwards, but both tentative start. This is Steps, is a bit like Prokhorovka in a lot of respects, where you have the right side for the North team and really the left side for the South teams.
So, 7 minutes and 13 seconds. You said this will either be a lucky Kuraki victory or a draw overall, and I tend to agree to an extent here. As McMoney just keeping eyes across. He's been making a couple of pot shots, nothing too crazy there for him. Just using that 1390, a little butcher style, going for the little peek up, get the shot, and then back away. But it's nothing new overall. McMoney just continue on. He's been a standout player, I feel, for the lucky Kuraki side so far, but a little bit of a lacking or lackluster performance prior to now. Looking to see what he maybe can do this game. 6 minutes and 33 seconds left. If they're going to make something happen, they're going to have to certainly do it fast as well. They've backed off their T69s here, and I'm not sure if that's just them being a little cautious. They don't want to risk it all, pretty much, and I don't really blame them. So is there any option of a move coming out from WUSA, or are they still very much turtled down?
The only one who's really doing anything is Killer Pit.
Is he just going back and forth out of the bush?
Yeah, he's made his way around to the bush, and basically he's doing exactly what LD Nexus is doing up there. Spotting and offensively spotting a little bit. Basically seeing where Lucky Kuraki is, because WUSA have really no information apart from they spotting the Kuraki about a minute and a half, 2 minutes ago. But it's Steps. It's such a defensive map. Although WUSA is quite far up and towards the top side of the trench, they haven't been spotted and they're not spotting anything out, even when they're making the shots. And Lucky Kuraki, they are 1-0 down, as you can see on the scoreboard. So they do actually have to win it. If it does come down to a draw at the end of the day, WUSA will still have a better position, and all in all, in the best of 5, have a better position, because if he does come to the 4th map, then you can only draw it out, and that's not what Lucky Kuraki wants.
No, Comandante there has appeared, but that's still not saying a great deal right now. You got Shock moving into a little bit of a different position, but it is that tentative game. Steps is. I either feel it always happens in the first couple of minutes when they both go towards the same side of each other, or it's a draw. I think it's one of those decisive maps these days. It's kind of an all-in or nothing, and at the moment I think we're going to have a bit of a nothing here, and that's the way the game plays out. Let's bear in mind though, the team that often goes for the draw gets left in the awkward predicament of, well, the face the facts here, WUSA already has a victory. So if Lucky Kuraki keep drawing these maps out, let's bear in mind WUSA still could win with just that one map. So more and more of the pressure will be applied here. And it looks like there's been a little bit of a change up from WUSA there. LD Nexus and Killer Pit, as you said, pretty much doing the same thing. Now literally are, but one tank's a little bigger than the other.
For sure, not that much bigger either. I mean, it's the AMX 3090, pretty small. I actually see one of these in real life at the Kubinka Tank Museum just outside Moscow. It's actually not too big. I would say it's about as big as the desk we're sitting on now, which is big compared to your average family car. But when you see, we went to that tank museum Zinsheim near Frankfurt. That was some big old tanks there. Centurion Mark 1, for instance.
I'm pretty sure I could live inside. I think I've had smaller flats before in my life. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, a 1-bedroom apartment. I went to see the Mouse as well in Kubinka, and that is an absolute monster. It's insane. But I have to say, my most favourite tank I saw, I believe, was the Conqueror. Killer Pit does get spotted, taking down Bishu, gets the first frag of the game, and a little bit of information towards Lucky Kuraki side. WUSA going for the cap and a little bit of spotting, but getting caught out in the end.
Yeah, not going to happen from that, but no, the tanks are absolutely phenomenal up close and in person. A little bit of a different feeling when you're standing next to them. It's only something to remember there. McMoney just trying to be a little careful, and you're seeing Schnitzel finally reply towards CNNK, who was down towards the defensive flag spot near Bishu and Co. But still, 2 tier 1s lost. I don't think it's enough for a push. A little bit of damage towards Lucky Kuraki on towards Object and McMoney. I don't think either team really wants to make anything out of this. I think there's too much of a risk involved. and they're going to try and go for the draw here and look towards the next map, playing this one out as safe as possible.
Yeah, I would guess so as well. It's getting towards garbage time, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You can see FKK Schnitzel is making his way across. The safest bet for WUSA as a team, because he's in a T32, he's got the most HP, best hold down ability. Also a very good player in general, very good in that heavy tank role. But doesn't get spotted, doesn't spot anything out, and yeah, 1 tier 1 for 1, and a little bit of damage done to Lucky Kuraki, I think as much as we'll get today. Doesn't even look like Lucky Kuraki are kind of amassing for a push, and certainly WUSA aren't either. It doesn't even look like they want to do a garbage time push, although QQ, no, he turns around just at the last second.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go for it at all.
No, they're going to draw this one out, there's no two ways about it. Passive play all in all, over the board from these two. A little bit surprised that Lucky Kuraki didn't try anything. Obviously you don't want to give away another map to the opposition, but still they do need to look for a way back through here, regardless of the scoreline. They must find a way in. I'm seeing a couple of players splitting off this side, but it is literally just a garbage time push. You can't find a victory with this, time left. On a map this size especially, it isn't exactly a small map, this one. We are seeing a little bit of that push coming in now. QQ might get found, but he is only a 1390 in the grand scheme of things. And with the amount of bounces, I'm sure it'll be just fine. Shock finally gets there. They are going to go for a little bit of a cap in the end, but I don't think they really have the time to do much with this.
Yeah, I don't think so. WUSA have gone for a full-in cap, 2 tanks in there. They'll need probably 3 if they don't want to get reset, and if they can create kind of a blockage between them and the Lucky Kuraki side, they might actually be able to pull this one off, though. Bishu's there on the side, and 1 reset will be enough for WUSA to go away and not get a win here.
Well, we've got both teams going for a cap. 56 seconds left overall. We do have the fact that WUSA are winning outright now, and there's the reset coming through. Bishu will land that one. At the moment, Lucky Kuraki have got this game in hand if they can keep this cap going. Let's stick on board and see who it is. It's Object, Shock, McMoney. Mapiel has to play defense here. 10 seconds left. They might be able to pull this off, but now Stefan and Commandante there looking to reset, and they have 18 seconds now on the opposition's cap going on. And Commandante will make these shots count. 12 seconds out on the opposition. We're going to have to see who is it. It's Bishu. Bishu's also in a little bit of trouble here. 7 seconds left, 5 seconds. He's got to land this shot pretty damn quickly. He does put out Schnitzel. 1 second left. He might have just hit that. I don't think he did. No, he didn't. He missed it. Unbelievable. And WUSA will pick up the map. Wow.
Worst call by us ever.
Wow. Yes, but we don't account for people like that missing those shells.
He had one job.
One job.
One job.
One job.
Like Nagatron had that one job to win it for USA at the grand finals. I hate to bring it up again, but it was a pretty similar situation.
One job. You just got to hit one tank that he knew where it was as well. Let's be serious here. He knew where that tank was.
Yeah.
And he missed.
Well, Lucky Kuraki shouldn't have put one tank to deal with the world. They should have put more there. And Bishu should have been in a better position in the first place, but I'm not sure if...
Let's just watch how bad this is.
I'm not sure if he had reload either. It would be great to have be able to see the reloads as well, Stephen. But yeah, you're home drinking beer, right? FKK Schnitzel. Oh, he hits him! No, he hits him then. The problem is FKK Schnitzel was... blocking off for, I believe that was QQ in the MX-3090.
So it didn't even matter.
So QQ had all the cap because Bishu had already reset that one AMX-3090 once, that T32 once, so it was all on QQ.
That's
pretty cool.
That's pretty good play in the end, actually, from WUSA. That's quite smart. I'll give them that. But I also kind of feel like, Jesus Christ, you can't stop a cap.
Yeah, I mean,
On
Bishu's
steps.
just in the wrong position, and he should have been hitting those shots at the end of the day.
Don't get me wrong. There are maps where caps happen, and sometimes you actually just can't do it. I've seen Himmelsdorf where it's almost a near on impossible situation to get that reset on, just because of the way they're set up. But even Ruinberg, maybe to an extent, sometimes there's a couple of maps that you can see it on.
Yeah.
Not steps. Not something I expect to see. Not when it's literally an open field with a couple of hills there. It's just like, oh, Lucky Kuraki, something has gone awry.
That one at all.
So let's look at it this way. WUSA are now a match point.
Yeah, 2-0. It could be our third 3-0 of the day. For WUSA, I mean, they're looking insane. I mean, it was a very risky move from them.
Yeah.
It was really a 50-50 move, but both teams going for the same thing. And the two T69s were in the right position. I guess that's a good thing about the trench. You have the option from both sides, but Yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles at the end of the day.
Crungles.
Crungles.
New word.
You risk it for a biscuit and you get a cookie sometimes. But we're moving on to Ruinberg, our next
I
map.
really want a cookie now. I wish it was 24-hour Tesco's.
No.
Melly just offered me a pretzel. Like, that would do the job.
It's like a German response. You want a cookie as a pretzel.
Pretty
Cheers.
much. Have a bit of bread with some salt on it. Have some fun. Nice fun,
Dry
Germany.
bread with salt. Yeah,
Oh,
boy.
treat yourself.
No, we had WH Smith's. We used to go down there at like
WH
7
Smith is
o'clock in the
good.
morning when they just finished baking all the cookies.
They had a bakery in there?
Yeah, no, M&S even.
Ah,
Sorry.
Mark's is good.
Mark's
Mark's is
and
good.
Sparks, right. You walk in, 7 o'clock in the morning just before you went to school, get a bag of cookies. Still, the white
Still
chocolate
warm, I
was
bet.
still melted, so it was hard on the outside a little bit, and it was soft on the inside, so it just exploded in your mouth. Next level. Anyone in the UK, you have to do that. Seriously, I recommend it.
Who doesn't do that? They better do it right now. Wait till 7 a.m. tomorrow morning and go and get
Just
them.
don't sleep. I tell you,
Just
it's
wait.
totally worth it. Without the World Cup, you got nothing to look forward to, so you might as well
Just get some cookies.
make
and
yourself fat on
just
cookies.
eat. Just eat your sorrows and feelings. It's much better that way. But next map coming up is Ruinberg. You might be able to tell we're a little bit hungry here. I'm not sure why. We've just constantly be on the topic of food.
No, we always seem to go to food.
Yeah. Melly, you hungry?
Always.
Always hungry.
Always hungry.
Hungry, some good games.
That's my secret. I'm always hungry. No, social media.
Okay.
Don't forget to get involved with all the talking about food and cookies and pretzels. Head
Eating
over to
lemons.
facebook.com/WGLEU and get involved in our challenge, which is already up since a map actually, where you can vote for your favorite team just to see the trend of the community, and of course leave your prediction of the exact scoreline in the comment section below to get into the race of one of three bonus codes. That's what I was trying to say. So bonus codes, awesome. T2 Lite, 1K Gold, 7 days of
Sounds
premium,
good.
garage slot, everything. Just get involved. Of course, send us your opinions via Twitter as well. Just use the hashtag WGLEU and follow us on Twitch.
See, you know what? I'm going to add something else into that, Melly. All right, do you remember the not the grand finals, it was one of the season finals out in Poland when we were there. It was very cold and it was
3.
snowing. 3, I think it was.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
What?
If anyone out there right now
Gets
who
us
watched
a
that,
cookie tank.
no. If anyone remembers what my favourite food was that we discussed on the show and what Mitch's favourite food was, you remember those two? And you tweet with the hashtag WGLEU.
Is
If
this
you get
one
it right.
Mitch 8 on...
Shh.
No. Okay.
Shush. Alright, guys at home, there is your challenge. If you remember what my favourite food was, what Mitch's favourite food was, with the hashtag WGLEU, I will get you a special prize. But anyway, I think we are ready for that final map. It is going to be Ruinberg, and I'm certainly looking forward to this. It could be 3-0. Can you believe it? Let's get this underway. Alrighty, map number 3 is Ruinberg, the map that we've been talking about so far, the one that America didn't quite do as well on. Sadly, Nagatron absolutely failing policy, but in this game, let's hope there is no absolute failures. In the south, in red, it will be Lucky Kuraki. In the north, in blue, it's WUSA, and you might argue that Lucky Kuraki have been a bit of a failure so far. Currently quite far up on the scoreboard. Overall in the rankings today, not so much. So, WUSA is on match point. What are they going for so far?
I think this is the first time on Ruinberg where we've seen both teams actually pick the same lineup for a long time, and both pick equally heavy lineups as well.
So one's not just completely outdone by the other. That's
exactly.
nice.
That's nice to see. It's going to be a little bit more of an even exchange. Lucky Kuraki goes for the city, and you can see WUSA goes for the right village, eastern village area. So both teams split off onto the opposite sides of the map. I have to say though, WUSA in this position have the better position because they have the upper ground. They can still push up towards the cap of Lucky Kuraki, and as long as Lucky Kuraki don't go for the full-on camp in excuse me, in K1, K2 area, then they should be okay.
Should. We'll see. Let's bear in mind, if WUSA pick this up, they'll win the map.
They'll win the map, yeah.
They'll win the match.
Win the match. Yeah.
So, Lucky Kuraki, arguably you can see as to why playing quite passively. However, We've seen this not working out for teams before when they've been caught out. But then again, I rest my faith in McMoney and Matt PL in this one especially. But let's see if we're going to see some action going down so anytime soon. We do see the tier 1 battle front to front. Oh, and I love the position Killer Pit's in. It's such a great position to get into. You can just drop yourself over in there in this lovely little section, as you can see. I don't know if he's actually fully in it or if he's just in the window.
I think just the tip of him's just out of the window a little bit. I'm not sure he got up there. I think he just flanked around, but he's got the 50-meter spot either way. But yeah, it's just the back of him there sneaking out the window. I'm not sure if you can actually get out of that position, which could be bad for WUSA at the end. I'm not sure if that'll work out for them or not. Have to wait and see. But interesting position overall.
Yeah, it's a little unique, and let's bear in mind the others are not too far. Ibishu, Object, McMoney, Kuraki, Shock, and Matt. So, good play overall so far. Smart play. Only one really being spot out is Killer Pit, but he's got a little bit of information already, so it's not the end of the world. And how are WUSA responding?
They're just being confident. FKK Schnitzel's roaming around. He's looked up north, see if anything's there. Looked up south now. He's just behind this bush, which is okay because there's not so much committed there for Lucky Kuraki. MX 3090, of course, a small tank, got great camo value. Although you think he's that's like 20% camo, 30% camo on the bush right in front of him. And generally, WUSA just spread up around and just gonna wait for it. You can see the kind of polarity between the two teams, a little bit like steps. It's quite hard to break it, but I would have expected WUSA to be a little bit more aggressive at the beginning. They still have the option though. Cap definitely. That's what I would do if I was WUSA, right? I would go here, put the two tier 1s in that bush there, and basically stop the cross from both Lucky Kuraki, and that could possibly win them the game as long as they stop the cross, especially from this side.
Well, we'll see if that comes into play. At the moment, Lucky Kuraki doing what they do best, which is necessarily not a lot. They do like their slow play on occasion. I don't really blame them for doing this, don't get me wrong. But then again, you draw this out, WUSA still have a 2-0 advantage. It doesn't actually get in the best position, but then again, maybe they've got a better map to go on to. I don't know. But still, first kill coming in, that'll be CNNK finding Killer Pit as a player tucked up towards the northwest of this map. And the rest looking like they're at least going to start a little bit of a rotate.
Yeah, possibly. QQ's joining Stefan LD Nexus in the middle. I'm not sure if he's going to be turning left or he's going to be joining Commandant up there. Matt PL does get spotted. I believe, FKK Schnitzel okay, but Seek will be pushing onto McMoney. I think McMoney might actually be reloading. I guess again, Seek goes down. That's awful for WUSA because basically their easiest move at the beginning was to go for the cap. I think that's what they should have done. Just sent Killer Pit or Seek into the cap of Lucky Kuraki and actually just gone straight in, because Lucky Kuraki, when you push into the city, it's very hard to win. It's again that capping move which you basically have on the cards and not much else, unless you do just want to push through the middle and hope the team's in the wrong position.
Well, to be fair, Kuraki is starting to get themselves around. I was a little bit nervous they were going to go back all the way towards the very side of the map that you can't really do much in once teams settle down. Their Shock and Matt PL lining up. Object not too far away either. And are they expecting a cap push? Is that why they're all here?
They tried this before. I think it was against Denial and they lost. They pushed the two IS3s up towards the center area and hoped that they could actually get the cap on, but they had a little less resources there. They had the double tier 1 AMX 3090s up north to get the cap, and the rest of the tanks down south to go for the engagement, but they got more tanks up south, down south even. So it looks like they just want to win via damage as opposed to anything else. Obiek just making the cross a little dangerous from him, but he doesn't get spotted because there's no tier 1 that LD Nexus does. Doesn't be so lucky. He gets spotted in the middle in his IS3. First couple of shells coming through, ringing out against WUSA, no connection.
No, nothing yet. WUSA getting slowly closed in on here. Let's bear in mind they don't have that tier 1 to spot out the threat incoming. That was picked up very early on by McMoney pushing out on his own. You can hear those shells flying across. No big damage caused. McMoney had got a flick a little bit of paint kind of chipped away, but we are finally seeing a little bit of fire coming in. LD Nexus does receive a touch of it, and now they might have to embrace for impact. So it looks like Lucky Kuraki are willing to challenge.
FKK Schnitzel receives 2, receives 3, only 2 doing damage though. 5, 4, 6 down. About 50% HP off him, and LD Nexus also receives 1 there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 7, 2. So a good actual push from Lucky Kuraki, because WUSA weren't that aggressive in the city, didn't manage to catch them out. They had that higher ground, they've given it up.
They have, and look at this, Matt and Shock are moving in. They might be able to catch a couple of these tanks on the way down the other side if they're that confident to make a push out of this. This could go very wrong very fast. You can see Matt and Shock are there, supported by Bishu, Money, everyone moving in. Schnitzel trying to get away, find a safer position. They're moving further and further back. 2 minutes and 54 seconds left. Fire now coming in, blind shots as they are. They could still do damage. As Matt and Shock line up, 5100s just off to their side, the likes of Object there, and Bishu pushing forward. And well, I've got to say it, Lucky Kuraki looking for the damage, looking for these shots. A couple of, shells coming back into them, but, at the moment, to say it, WUSA are on the run.
They are, but they got themselves good positions down here. Stefan takes another shell, takes 2 shells, 5, 6, 3. Down 3 shells now, 2, 3, 6 left on him. He's got to get into the defensive position. This is actually not looking good for for WUSA, but with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on that clock, they still have time to draw this out. Should I say they still don't have time for Lucky Kuraki to win it, and they are fastly but surely running away in towards the city, and just going to be trying to make that cat and mouse situation, and that's where Lucky Kuraki will struggle, because their slow tanks won't be able to catch up with them when they have the disadvantage of how far away they are. But they might go for the cap, which is still the option.
Well, in the moment, I like the way Matt and Shock are trying to cut these guys off by heading straight across the map. They knew it was starting to be a city push. Both the tier 1s had stayed where they were. Bishu and Money trying to hunt down Stefan, who is desperately low, down to 236. This could still go well, and actually it looks like the IS-3s and such are splitting across. They might be going for a cap here.
They still got time to do it. I mean, we said to stay them on steps. Can they actually have time? Yes, they did, and with 3 tanks, that's plenty of time. LD Nexus is on his own. He's going to find himself in a lot of trouble against Bishu.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he's out on so much of a limb here, but he's certainly going to find out why I think it's a bad plan. Bishu moving in for 1. LD Nexus tries to avoid McMoney from the side, comes in. The cap has started, and there we go. McMoney claims it. CNNK will fall, but that's only a tier 1. They need to get these resets here. They need to focus on this, and it looks like the firing squad of Schnitzel, QQ, and Commandante are trying to do the job. Matt PL gets caught on the cross, but does not go down. And now that timer is going to get pretty damn fast, pretty damn quick. Here we go. Object moving across, getting into position. And a couple of resets. But Stefan and Money, the weaker few. Money going in for the kill here. He's looking like he wants to get aggressive, keep the pressure off, and he's done the job. Find Stefan. And Money looking to maybe claim another here. 12 seconds left. They must get these kills in. Otherwise, well, Lucky are going to claim it. 7 seconds, 6 seconds. They can't find these guys. They don't have time, surely. Commandante moving in. Matt, Object, Bishu. I think they've done it. They have indeed. Lucky Kuraki finally wake up. And WUSA, too late to the party, just fell to pieces. And why did they let that happen in the end? They had enough combat tanks left, surely.
They just didn't want to engage. They're as simple as that. The communication broke down. They wanted to draw it out, and that was pretty much... You could see that was going through their head the whole time. We want to draw, we want to draw, we want to draw, we want to draw. But Lucky Kuraki were like, we want to win. And basically, it wasn't lost, but it was very likely to lose when WUSA went out of the city. They had no reason to get out of the city then. Just no reason at all. They were in the wrong positions in the city. They should have been more towards the front, and they should have been putting all their heavy tanks up and just shooting Lucky Kuraki they cross the open field. We play random battles. It's exactly the same. When you start from the south and you try and go through the open field on either north or south of Ruinberg, you're going to get caught out and taken down. So
I think we can see that one
WUSA
again,
just
actually.
not being particularly aggressive there.
So you saying, like, while they're crossing an open field...
They've pretty much already lost it by this point. Well,
too little, too late.
Well, they haven't lost it, but they've drawn it out. And maybe, I would say a lot more than lost it than they've drawn it out. And LD Nexus has been left on his own.
Why was he there?
Makes no sense. Maybe he was just a bit too late to the party. Yeah, the NIST, Commandant, and QQ, they were basically trying to do damage here. I mean, why not get yourself into a better position? You needed to be where Matt PL is, but on the other side of the house. Getting shots across on the tanks that are crossing, there's no point in doing that.
No.
Because Matt Money was reloading then, he actually needed to. He shouldn't have been reloading. He should have had all 6 shells and gone around the back and dealt with those tanks capping instead of just shooting people like, I don't know, random battles or something.
Yeah, mistakes being made there, and WUSA maybe falling back into the habits that we'd hoped they'd broken out of. Sadly not showing through in that game, but still. Next map being Himmelsdorf. Currently sat at 2-1. I'm hoping we don't have a new TCM on our hands.
Yeah, that would be that would be interesting.
This is the point here. You know, there's been a lot of teams crumbling under the pressure of this. They get 2 maps up to the good, on the verge of picking up the final one, and then just can't seem to get it. And I don't know what it is at the moment. They seem to be kind of struggling here. But Himmelsdorf is a good all-rounder, and let's bear in mind WUSA are still on match point. So there's a lot to be done here for Lucky Kuraki. Is this a map they can do it on?
I think WUSA's got better heavy tank players than they do light tank players, to be honest.
So this could be a good map for them.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say, very hard to say. It depends what Lucky Kuraki do on the hill, I think. But I like Seek and QQ and those guys in the MX-6100s and the IS-3s, to be honest.
No, I tend to agree with you, and I think that's exactly what we're going to be seeing. As we know now, guys at home, obviously you're not new to this, so we don't have to explain everything to you, but Himmelsdorf, we don't see that many variants in tank choices. You know, what works, and you don't need to fix it if it's certainly not broken, which it is, and we still see the variations coming through. We saw a great bit of play coming out from several different teams that maybe I didn't expect it to. Certainly School Bus showing some real class in the way they played, smart play to pick up one of the victories on this, and actually Kazna struggling a little bit by a very passive opponent. So there are a lot of variations to this. The map, when I kind of started casting World Tanks, it was all about kind of the middle play, banana road, going in towards maybe the railroad, the 1 to 3 line, using that a little bit. But it's even evolved past then, and that back then was a static map. Even to our eyes, it had been kind of run through. So there still are small nuances that you get to spot every single time. So guys, let's get ourselves ready to what could be our final map here. Next map being Himmelsdorf. Welcome into battle number 4. Map number 4 being Winter Himmelsdorf in the north in red. It is Lucky Kuraki with it all to do. Currently sat against the side with match point against them. No one wants that position to be in. But anyway, in the south in blue, it is WUSA. As we said, with that advantage, looking to make this one hurt. And well, what are we seeing from the very offset here between these two? Do you think this is going to play out the way we expect?
Yeah, I think so. Lucky Kuraki all heading up towards the hill, and for WUSA, they're kind of splitting off in a little bit of an older fashion. Stefan going middle, Kommandant going left, and everyone else going up the hill. Rufy keeping the 8 line pretty chilled out. Under cups, under cover, under wraps. But yeah, Lucky Kuraki hill push, very standard tier 1 8 line, a little bit more. I'd be interested to see if this is going to be a long game or a short game. I think WUSA is going to be a little bit more of the offensive team on this map, as Lucky Kuraki haven't been doing so. They've been a little bit more strong on the, the open maps than anything else.
Yeah, and this is a real all-in from Lucky Kuraki. I have to stick on board with this. This is kind of all or nothing. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm sold by this, but we'll have to see that coming into play now. Map PL object. All making their way up to that hill. Not spotting out anyone really so far, but QQ could be in for some real trouble here. CNNK catching a glimpse of him. Matt moving up. These guys could go for a couple of shots here and really do some damage, and it looks like they might want to. So let's see if QQ stays in focus. Not right now. He's not been spotted out, so you can see CNNK moving further forward. He wants to get this spot out. He wants to keep these guys with the information, but is this a mistake, Ollie?
No, I don't think so. He just wants to find out if WUSA pushed on the hill, and Lucky Kuraki already know that they haven't. So the option for them is more of just like, well, okay, so hill, then come off the hill again once you have their information, come from a different angle. That's what it looks like they're doing. 2 IS-3s charging down towards their cap, maybe looking for an 8 line push or expecting a flank from WUSA. which they aren't doing right now. But it's going to be Lucky Kuraki to be the more defensive team, I think, at the start. You can see usually on Himmelsdorf, if a team is being offensive, they go with either two sets of tanks, so in a 3 and a 2 split, or like 5 tanks all in one location. If you see tanks split up here, there, everywhere, unless it's like new multi-show on his own, then there's really no option. They are not going for the aggressive attack. But WUSA in general is sticking up all towards the left side of the map, and starting to look towards a 1-2-3 line push.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how they actually turn this one around and see what they can do with this. A couple of spots being made now. Bishu might be able to get a couple of shells on towards Stefan, and he does so. 310 done there. IS3 takes a little bit of a beating, and slowly chipping away at health like this will open up options for the likes of Lucky Kuraki to make their move across. But you know, at the moment, it's not looking like they fancy it. They are really quite a passive side. Look at this stack they've got going on here. Not wanting to do this at all. CNNK, Bishu, and Kurak up there on the hill still. Money, Map, and Shock there. But Siege has appeared. And seeing how that last game went, I'm sure they're getting a little bit nervous as to anyone appearing over towards that side of the map. So, you know, at the moment, is this wise from Lucky Kuraki to be this passive when they don't have the advantage? No,
they have to win this one. This is last chance saloon for Lucky Kuraki. They're 2-1 down, 4th map. If this is a draw, still 2-1. 5th map, it's going to only be a draw overall in the game. So WUSA need to draw this one or win it. And if they win it, it's game over for Lucky Kuraki. And if they draw it, it's also game over for Lucky Kuraki. So it's just nothing to do for them. They really need to push.
Yeah, and at the moment, John, this reminds me of the game we just saw not too long ago, where the team who made the aggressive push walked away with a better advantage. Even though it did draw in the end, the victory actually went to the team who made the moves first of all, and Money crossing off this, so he's going to be watching down here, playing smart in that IS3. Doesn't need to do too much, just needs to hold it so they don't get split pushed. Whereas Matt and Shock having to watch this way, and I'm surprised we're not seeing anyone in a position over towards the ruined buildings here towards this side, because normally we see a bit of a stack here on this sort of position, but no one actually there to hold it, so they're clearly not too sure of what's going on. But Bishu's still on the hill. I'm waiting to see these guys fully commit here, because we're not really seeing much commitment between these two. It's
pretty funny actually, because Lucky Kuraki seems like a team which relies on the other team pushing for them to win games. They did it against Denial Esports as well. The only reason Denial lost that matchup is because they were aggressive and stupidly aggressive in a lot of respects. But Lucky Kuraki just waits for the other team to push, and if they push unsuccessfully, we get the win. Against some teams that works maybe, but against Virtus Pro and those lot, it just doesn't work. You're going to lose because they're better at pushing than you are. And if you can only play defensively once everything changes and you need to play offensively, then that's when you struggle. But WUSA in general, flanking around again, kind of expecting, I guess, a push from Lucky Kuraki off the hill, but no, FKK Schnitzel goes forwards. So they may be looking for another angle up the 8 line. 4 minutes and 30 seconds still. A couple minutes to play around with here, but the hill does look like the option and the playground they're choosing.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if there's that much time for this. I've got to be serious here. 4 minutes and 17 seconds. If they want to do a full push here, if they want to commit and play smart, so I think you have to do it fast. And well, Object and Co. They are literally just hunkered down here waiting for this pretty much, Lucky Kuraki. And there is still one player up on the hill, and that is Bishu. He's not left that hill since the moment he got there. He is joined by Kurak, who didn't rotate off either, so he could be in for a surprise pretty soon.
Yeah, it frustrates me right now because they've got not enough time to win, pretty much, almost at least. They've got another minute to make something happen. They see Kurak and they like, let's go and kill Kurak. I mean, fair enough, you get a frag, you get a tier 1 frag, and you've already lost, they've already lost one tier 1. Tier 1s make a big difference on Himmelsdorf, but he just spotted your whole team, so anything that they do, it's going to be very obvious for Lucky Kuraki, and they're going to be able to deal with it. So it's really a real pointless move what WUSA's doing right now, in my opinion. Unless Lucky Kuraki fails to defend effectively, and Kurak dies a little bit too early. But he gets the second spot off. So again, more information piling onto Lucky Kuraki's side. Less and less good decisions from WUSA. They did the first 2 maps well, and now they really are starting to struggle to make those those proper plays, and they have to wait at least 10 seconds, but they stop. It makes this baffles my mind. You don't stop basically in World Tanks. Once you spot a tank, you have to wait about 10 seconds until it goes unspotted. But the last thing you do is stop driving forwards. You keep on driving forwards for 10 seconds, so the other team thinks you're coming off the hill. If you just stop and you're dead in your tracks, it's pretty obvious that you're going to turn around again.
Well, at the moment, Matt Money, Shock and Object are still pushing up here. That may be why they're doing it. A little short-sighted from WUSA, probably lacking that experience. But then again, Bishu did leave the hill, so in theory this could go okay, but you know, that's a lot of tanks to kill and not a great deal of time. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. Seish is doing a phenomenal job, let's bear in mind. He spotted out these guys every single time they move past, but there is still one man, is Bishu, a little bit further back. And, well, at the moment, they are still spotting these guys out. So hopefully, if we do see a push coming through from the WUSA side, they can make this one count. Bishu did take down Seish, so they've lost that information. Bishu is falling back, and I feel this is a little short-sighted coming up from WUSA.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on right now. I think, it's obvious that Lucky Kuraki are going for the base race, yeah. They're going to put 2 tanks in the cap. That's enough to actually win it. It's 1 minute and 40 seconds with 1, and you just halve it every time, and then you have it pretty much where you're at. So, 2 in. It's going to be a base race.
Well, Bishu does get knocked back to start with, but let's see if he can actually keep up with this one. And who do you think's got the better position?
I think they're both pretty similar in positions. Bishu, though, is going to be a perfect place to try and go for the counter cap. He actually tracks Rufy, so that could be bad.
Yeah, Bishu there is in trouble. He's going to be trying to do what he can, but over on the other side, we are seeing them both down to about 25 to 30 seconds. This is going to get very, very close. LD Nexus is the one man trying to reset this one and play smart, and he's done just that. Matt PL and McMoney are now falling back to try and help their other teammates here because it's not doing the job it should. Resets have come through. 15 seconds now for WUSA. 13. LD Nexus moving in. He's got the kill. Object now on his own. They've dealt with the threat. Now it's all about the defense game. Can they hold on to the cap they had going? Or is this going to go terribly wrong? There's another reset. This is down to the brawl now.
They have to try and get this last reset because we got 3 seconds. They do get it. This could just be about enough for WUSA.
Well, let's find out. WUSA trying to hold on here. Kills coming in. Matt does get one towards Rufy. Object is still dealing with 2 on the other side. McMoney focusing in. Schnitzel is there. Schnitzel is very, very low. Can they do anything? This is what it comes down to. McMoney takes down QQ, and now there's the reply. 14 seconds left. Surely WUSA could have done this a lot sooner.
They could have done it, and they might have been successful, but at the moment, Lucky Kuraki are so far ahead. 3 combat tanks. Matt PL gets stuck in the middle. Stefan catches him there, but it's going to be a draw, and that pretty much closes the door for Lucky Kuraki. They were ahead in most of that game. WUSA came so close to capping.
They did.
It was about 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, it was about 3 left, I think.
Yeah, 2 or 3 seconds till they would have won that one. But now it's just a draw capable for Lucky Kuraki, despite the fact that once they got the reset against WUSA, they were winning the game.
Don't get me wrong, I like base races, but that was just a little sloppy from both. You know, I remember seeing this between Virtus Pro and Team Dignitas at the time, and it was just beautiful to watch. But that just felt like, okay, we're going to put our tanks here because that's all the time we've got left and hope for the best. Rather than having these backup plans, I want to give credit. I think it was Seish in the end, the tier 1 who actually kept eyes on the entire movement coming out from Lucky Kuraki when they made their way down the 1 to 3 line down that railroad. He actually did such a good job of just keeping tabs on them in that tier 1, making sure they were spotted, making sure he knew. I think it was QQ. No, it was one of the players, Bishu, came back a little earlier to try and defend it in case there was a counter cap, and he spotted that as well. So credit to the tier 1s, this is why they are very useful, but still, I'm a little bit lackluster by this one, and let's look at it over again because it was a little bit dodgy between these two. You can see it there, the 3-man stack. Look how close this is getting. 8 seconds, 7, 6, down to a 1-shot. Matt gets the right target, resets, and then we're back on. And rinse and repeat, McMoney came back, and then the kills just didn't come in for WUSA. They just weren't fighting from this point. They just got bullied off it by Lucky Kuraki. And let's bear in mind, only one player originally was in a position to reset this. He was pretty much negated at this point, which is Bishu. And those two had the time to come all the way across the map to support that teammate. Now, I feel it was sloppy from both in that situation. I think a lot of them need a little bit of work on a map like Himmelsdorf, where we see this sort of play coming into practice, you know, on quite a regular basis. I really want to see a little bit smoother play from these two. Because even you doubted that move on the hill, and they backed up a little early, and there was a lot of choices that maybe weren't great there.
You know, I think caps are generally a cop-out. You have to...
Yep.
We've seen it on steps already, so these two teams went for the same thing just on steps and compared to Himmelsdorf. They were camping a long time. They got towards garbage time. They were like, we have X amount of time and it takes Y amount of time to cap. And they did the same on Himmelsdorf. And it's like, you know, a cap is a guaranteed win if it gets to 100% and gets the exclamation mark. But at the end of the day, you want to be winning through damage and killing tanks, because that's what the game's all about. And in my opinion, it's the more reliable source of winning, because once you chucked a lot of tanks in a cap, it might work once or twice, but in general, you still need to get the wins based off your actual ability as a team.
Yep.
Which I think is very important.
See, I am of a very similar mind to you in that aspect, that I feel it's an okay last resort. I feel that going for a cap, if it's well positioned within your strategy, is fine. Like, we've seen Still Mojo doing it recently, and he's been absolutely perfect. But still, let's see if that final map's going to go any better here. Ensk is coming up. Let's see who's going to walk away with the win or the draw. So, welcome to battle number 5. We are here into Ensk, and between, at the moment, Lucky Kuraki and WUSA is one map. Let's bear in mind, if it's a draw, WUSA win. If it's a win for WUSA, WUSA win. It's pretty much all WUSA's way, unless Lucky Kuraki can pull out a full victory here. And Lucky Kuraki will be starting in the north. In the south, it will be WUSA. And what are WUSA getting up to?
I'm heading towards the right side in the green zone, but we have been here before between WUSA and Kazna crew. This is exactly what happened last time. Pretty much the same maps. The only difference is that WUSA's starting from the south this time. They started from the north last time. They won against Kazna crew and brought it 2-all. But this time WUSA are on the other side of the fence. They are up, and all they need to do is draw this one to win it. So it's a little bit of poetic justice for them if Lucky Kuraki do win. You know, a bit of taste of their own medicine is always very good and pretty healthy in my book. But both teams opting for the right side a little bit more than the left side, and Lucky Kuraki spreading out to try and get the cross off with Mac Money and Shock there in the ice read. Yeah,
and they actually didn't get any on the cross, I don't believe, and at the moment it looks like WUSA have made it safely across now. Seashare in that Tier 1, the player that I had to point out for his great work in the Tier 1, doing very well before, and it looks like we're actually seeing a rotate coming out from Lucky Kuraki towards the green zone, so certainly willing to challenge on this, as they do need a win here. They can't deal with anything less, and I'm hoping for WUSA's sake they don't mess this one up, but Stefan taking a double is not going to help. He's down to 901. Any more shell will really put him in a bad situation. Matt does get one back, though. That 5100 having to stop himself on object. Not the way forward he'd probably want, but still, for the beginning, who's in the better spot?
Well, Lucky Kuraki slightly, but Stefan actually managed to get away with that match. Should have been more aggressive once he'd been unspotted.
Yep.
10 seconds, I say, and after 10 seconds, you have to really be back in the right position. Stefan managed to get away scot-free, though. Maybe negating some of Lucky Kuraki's initial wanting to get the win. If they take down Stefan, that would have been an almost sure thing for them, but QQ being very dangerous and adventurous, I have to say. He makes himself an awfully big target in that MX 5100. Very, very squishy tank and easy to hit. It's like a box pretty much from the side, apart from that small auto-loading turret. FKK Schnitzel takes his position, and this team just looking for the higher ground to get the shots on, because Lucky Kuraki's only option really is to push along here. They can also push across the train tracks, which would be their best option. But you know, you can only do so much as a team, so you make your choices and you have to take the consequences.
Well, at the moment, B-Shoot up in that green zone as well, and I'm just waiting to see what Lucky Kuraki do, because your WUSA can just hunker down. They don't have any incentive to go for a push here. And it's the first time we'll be seeing Lucky Kuraki having to be a little more aggressive, having to make those moves and actually do the work. So Money there just side-scraping his way to victory, trying to land a couple of shells. Non-connecting though, and he'll have to make his way a little further forward. A little bit of a tentative start considering the time they've got left here. Not as it's still 7 minutes, but they need to start making their way forward if they do want to get a full engage Smart play putting the tier 1 over here so no one can escape towards the city side if someone does try it. Not a bad idea at all. And we are finally seeing the fact that Lucky Kuraki is starting to move.
Yeah, they are. Well, it really depends on what FKK Schnitzel QQ can do in this interesting position, as it will be 3-on-5 until they get themselves there. So if they're going to come down and actually come from behind Lucky Kuraki, that would be epic. And if they can't, they might struggle.
Well, at the moment, Bishu is on his way to deal with Schnitzel up there. Shock, McMoney, and Object all waiting this one out, but now QQ appears. This is now game time. Schnitzel takes one. Bishu replies. It's a back and forth. QQ chimes in. He's 2v1. Bishu will not win this fight out, and suddenly these three are looking vulnerable and ripe for the taking. Object, McMoney, and Shock looks like they want to make a move out of this to try and push their way through, but they could be surrounded anytime now. Matt's been picked up, and McMoney gets a bit of damage. Object as well receives some, and this is a very bad situation for Lucky Kuraki.
Lucky Kuraki have to make sure they get the flanks sorted before they can get anything else. Obiek goes low. FKK Schnitzel does get taken down. For now, it's 1-1 exchange.
But I've got to say, look at the HP left towards Lucky Kuraki. Object is down to 64 HP. Absolutely nothing. And if a tank feels, confident and ready, and the one thing that may redeem Lucky Kuraki is this tier 1 split. The tier 1s are going over towards the cap. It may bring the attention away from this push, but Kuraki gets taken down to 17 HP. Not ideal. But Money trying to back away. I don't think he'll be able to make it if he does go for a full retreat here. And at the moment, this is looking disastrous for Lucky Kuraki. Where are their options laying here?
They have to put the pressure on, as you said, from the cap. But really their only option right now is to deal with whatever WUSA does. And WUSA is pushing from the side.
LD Nexus is about to catch these guys out. Nexus gets one, backs away. Does not outstay his welcome. They don't know it's completely clear up on that green zone, which, bear in mind, it is. And Money trying to reposition a little to get a shot back to him. But this is brilliant stuff from WUSA. Just pushing in, pushing out, making sure they're picking away, just chipping away at the HP against them. And LD Nexus can just play this one carefully and smartly. You can see QQ there, one of the men who took down one of the initial kills early on. Gets a little bit of flack going out from Money, but still, Object and Shock are in a lot of trouble. Money has to be quite careful here. Finally, a little bit of the cavalry has arrived almost. Is it too little too late? You got Matt PL there having to do the same, but these guys are really tucked in. Matt gets a little caught out by Stefan. And now the 4v3 in the worst possible position does continue.
Why aren't WUSA just pushing in with QQ? He could solo the whole of Lucky Kuraki on his own, pretty much, if they miss a couple of shells, but instead he just opts to sit up there. It makes no sense. LDNX should push in, and he should have QQ from his right, and they should finish this game off, and yet WUSA camps. It boggles the mind, but yeah, he doesn't, and LDNX even retreats back. They know they only have to go for a camp, but that could be disastrous for them. Still, map wins. Our map is money in the bag. It's money in the bank at the end of the day, and that's not what they're considering when they have such an advantage. Matt PL a 1-shot, Obiect a 1-shot, Kuraka 1-shot, McMoney a 2-shot. It's really a game over, and WUSA just need to clean up.
This is very, very sloppy stuff. You can see it overall. Look at the HP on these guys. Maybe waiting for Commandante to get an angle on Matt, but still, this is sloppy and dangerous, and Matt could be the one to finally be on the end of this. Commandante moving in for the kill. He does pick up Matt. Surely the move should come off the back of this. LD Nexus finding a shot towards Shock, and now these three are surrounded. Commandante coming around the back. They must make a pinstring move at the same time. QQ takes one. Shock takes another. They are pretty much all one-shots here. Now they are. Commandante comes around, gets another. Can he find any more? There is a reply. They are making a stand out of this. The HP is just not good enough. LD Nexus finds Object. McMoney still alive, but for more, how long? As finally the move begins, the cap underway. They know where these guys are. One more shell. Jeez, guys, hit this one already. Seish will find CNNK, leaving just Kuraki alive. But that was not a pretty way to end out the game. No,
that was poor play from both teams. Lucky Kuraki had no options, so Bishu going up the top was dangerous and I think unnecessary. The only thing he could have not done is actually just try and come around the bottom and try for a different angle, but yeah.
WUSA in the end.
WUSA in the end take it 3-1 against Lucky Kuraki. My third prediction of the day, and my third incorrect prediction, apart from maybe the first one. But what can I say?
You can't predict these things sometimes.
Lucky Kuraki were poor today, I think, is what we can all say. WUSA, good on the first 2 maps. Very impressed with what they did on the first 2 maps. And then it really did go downhill. On Ensk, you saw it at the end. I was showing it then. Commandante came around the corner. He was in a 3 versus 1 situation. He had almost 100% HP. Everyone else was looking in the wrong direction, and yet he still sat behind the corner. And when he did push in, you'd see Virtus Pro, when they push in, they push into a position where they can hit everyone.
Yep.
WUSA push into a position where they can hit only one person, and this is not a random battle. And this doesn't work.
I think we need to see it back in motion, because you guys at home, in case you are, maybe not paying attention, look how low these guys were. Object, as you said, 1 shot. Commandante finally moving across. Full HP here. Object low, Kuraki low, Matt PL low. QQ's been in a position to do something here. Commandante finally gets Matt. But why did they take so long doing this?
You can see Commandante slowly starts coming back. There's 3 tanks there, Mac Money. Shock and Object are 1 shots. But look, where's Commandante? Look at him. What is he doing? He's in a 3 versus 1 versus 3 situation, all looking the wrong direction. He's backing them forwards like a random battle, and finally does push in and take them down. But yeah, sloppy stuff from WUSA. They do get the win eventually, so you can't really take that away from them. But I just want to see a little bit more decisiveness. When you have the win,
agree.
you have the win, and you just have to finish it off.
Yeah, it was a slightly... Okay, let's look at it this way then. WUSA have not really been able to pick up a match this far. This is them being tentative, being nervous. Obviously, this is their first win. Maybe not used to having to be confident, not used to be having to close out these games, which we saw being a big issue for a lot of teams in the last couple of seasons, is they'll get the advantage, but they can never close out.
Yeah.
So, this is a new kind of hurdle maybe for these guys, but still, that was a very extreme situation that they should have done or dealt with.
I'm unsure, because against Virtus Pro, WUSA were on steps. They put LD Nexus in that position, the MX-3090. They got a lot of damage onto Kusok. And then all they had to do was push the IS-3, and I think it was a 51 T69 over, and just push in. They had a lot of HP more than Virtus Pro, but they were sitting backwards, they're going forwards, sitting backwards, going forwards. I completely agree. Under the pressure, it's hard to make the decisions, and you want to be doing everything right. But even when they're on the back foot, losing against a lot better team than Lucky Kuraki, they still weren't being aggressive. But again, they win the matchup. So I'm just saying, I'm just looking out for them,
Yeah, these small adjustments can really step up gameplay, and we have 20/20 hindsight pretty much, and vision over everything. So in our position, it's very easy to sound knowledgeable sometimes, but it's because we get to see every piece in the puzzle before it's all put back together. So hopefully they can look over this and maybe see a couple of things they can now adjust, maybe have a little more confidence in each other. Excuse me, to actually close out these games, because that game could have been over a lot sooner, and it wouldn't have had to go to those 5 maps in the end. But still, congratulations, WUSA, on picking up your first victory. Certainly deserving. Lucky Kuraki looking, I've got to say, pretty weak. They didn't really take much of anything in that game. And the disparity between how they can be against top teams to the lower teams, it's a worrying sight, to be fair. Hopefully for them as well, and they can work on that. But something needs to be adjusted there, because they seem to be on that little bit of a slippery slope now, and not quite doing the damage I'd expect. But let's actually bring in Melly, because we've got our opinions aside. How did the community feel about this one? Did that to be a victory for WUSA?
Well, yes. Surprisingly.
Wow, okay.
Well,
Faith.
again, after my last statement, people in chat went like, well, Melly, why are you so mean? Don't do that to WUSA. But sometimes teams need like a little wake-up call, like a little poke to get them back on the right track, and it kind of helped, I guess. I don't know if some of the WUSA players have heard what I said, but people, I know you can do it, and you showed us, of course, and I think it's as Lauren said, they have to build up the confidence to stand up against such teams, and maybe they can take something out of this win and establish it throughout the league. And people at home voted with a clear 72% for WUSA.
Wow.
It was much higher in the start, actually, and it dropped a little bit, I think, after Lucky Kuraki managed to get a map. But and if we have a look on in the comment section, it's pretty much for WUSA. So
wow, they had faith.
Definitely.
Certainly did.
Ah, German strength. They were just like, support them.
Obviously got a lot of German viewers in today.
Yeah, I don't blame them, to be fair. Like, even from the start, you've got to say WUSA did look better than Lucky Kuraki.
Sure,
all that surprising. But if possible, is there any more questions going through, or has this just been a pretty quiet day? We've been chilling out. We've been having a good time.
Well, people were kind of calling this a day of the dark horse, the underdogs more.
It kind of is, actually.
Yeah,
How did I not rinse that phrase? I think the audience at home need to take my job. It's not only down to me to make these terrible puns, or not puns even, just terrible repetitive remarks. That's my job.
Statements, yeah.
Yeah.
And someone actually asked, Yukai asked...
Yukai knows this stuff.
Yeah, why is he asking me stuff?
How do I play World of Tanks, please?
The guy's got like 1,000 average experience. Yeah,
no, he's asking why he can't download replays from the games. Why can't we download replays to watch from other teams this season?
He's having a laugh. Well, I mean, to be fair, we had it last season that you could download replays, but...
And no one did it.
No, everyone did it, but the teams, they don't like it because...
They get anti-stratted.
They get anti-stratted immediately. So we show all the games all the games on stream.
At the end of the season, we release the demo pack.
I'll have to ask Stephen, I guess.
Stephen Neal, at home with your beer in hand.
Put it down. 91.
He's not watching, Lauren. There's no point asking.
You better be right. I'll mute the stream right now, Stephen. I'm gonna call you after this. All you have to do is make a nice little demo pack of all of the demos and release it to the team after the season ends. And then, new season, new changes, new patches.
Yep.
You'd hope people would change their strategies. If they're playing the same way, that's kind of their fault, to be fair. I think that'd be a nice thing at the end of the season. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll pass them all forward to, let me tell you his email address. No, I better not.
I'll give you his phone number.
Yeah, there we go. We'll start the phone number for him there. But no, it's obviously, I think it's quite a nice idea, actually, at the end of the season, so to watch back to get know the teams. And obviously, the general public can learn how to play like their favourite player. I always love that,
Absolutely.
I'm not going to lie, I watch streams all the time and try and pick up little spots from people. I'm like, okay, they're playing there. Why are they doing that? Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's always quite a nice thing.
I've heard it plenty of times in chat. People actually like watching our show, but maybe not only like watching it, but that's the only reason for them to watch this show, to actually see how their pro players are playing. If I can use my words, I don't know what's happening today. But yes, that's one of the reasons people watch shows like this. So I think such a demo pack, or the possibility of downloading demos from pro players is
quite cool.
Definitely interesting, and it could also bring some variety in the game.
Definitely. And how many anti-strats have we already seen today? Only School Bus brought out a few, and they were quite clearly knowing exactly what they're up against. So I don't think it's a bad idea. I think at the end of a season, once you have that cut-off point, I think it'd be a good thing to have. But obviously, we'll have to see. But social media-wise, how did the people get involved? They all been good today? Everything's been going well? Any hashtags?
Everyone was nice and tweeted a lot of stuff by using the hashtag WGLEU. You can tweet us, of course, outside of our broadcasts as well. So I'm always reading your tweets, and I'm always happy to read from you. Also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/WGLEU, and become part of our Facebook network by following our Facebook page, by liking our Facebook page, facebook.com/WGLEU. And of course, don't forget to follow our Twitch channel to get notified as soon as we're going live. It's really important, so you won't miss any single minute of our lovely show. So that was all from my side.
Yeah, back to us, sadly. We're not as cool. We don't have hashtags just for us two. I think we need to make one.
Yeah.
We'll work something out. Don't worry about it. That'll be next week. But before
hashtag
that...
Big Boss for me. That's what I'm going to go for.
What was your name?
Hashtag Big Boss.
Oh, that's a joke. Anyway, let's check out the rankings of how today's Playday has affected them. And so far, you can see that now School Bus getting themselves up there, hot on the heels of Kazna Crew now. Well, representing that loss alongside them. Certainly a bit of a tricky thing to stare at if any of you are fans there. But still, overall, I've got to say it, good to see a couple of teams picking up wins here. Good to see WUSA finally off that 1 point. And can you believe they've taken over Isuba, C-Play and Freefall just because of that one draw in the bag with Kazna Crew there. They've got themselves from last place to 9th in one Playday.
Yeah, and School Bus do manage to even up against Kazna Crew, so that one loss did bring them back to 13 points, but VertsPro still ahead by quite some margin. Things are all starting to shape up now. TCM Gaming slipped down to 5th place after Evil Panda Squad managed to win. TCM just drawing too many times. But yeah, it's starting to shape up now. I have to say, I don't think Lucky Kuraki are going to be in 6th place. That might switch around, maybe Denali Esports.
Well, we're going to find out at least one part of that question in the next Playday because, well, if Lucky Kuraki want to stay there, they have to prove they can kind of keep up with the very best, and their opponent will be Kazna Crew. Looking a little shaky today. Not looking as strong as they have overall so far, but still a completely brilliant team. So don't underestimate them, Lucky Kuraki. We'll have to wait and see how that one goes down. Following that, Freefall against Isuba. Battle of the lower side of the tournament, but then again we saw one team, WUSA, having a bit of a tough opponent and got themselves up about 3 or 4 places. Could be a bit of a game to watch. And then WUSA up against the Leprechauns. Now, what is your game of the day out of that lot? What would you say would be the better one to watch?
I think the most fun for me will be the first one, Kaz and Lucky Kuraki. I think that's going to be the most interesting, but obviously the most fun free fall is Super probably.
Yeah, there's fun and there's skill, and then there's maybe a bit in between. But no, I tend to agree. Lucky Kuraki look better against top-tier teams than the very lower ones, so that's certainly going to be a proving point to if my theory is true that they only aim at the top and not the bottom, so we'll find out. But I think that is it from us today. If you have enjoyed the show, as Melly said, make sure you head over towards Twitter, Facebook, get involved, follow here on Twitch TV, just down below there's a lovely little follow button, make sure you hit that. And also make sure you tune back in on Thursday the 30th. That's not a Thursday. I'm lying to you, I believe. It's a Monday. No one likes Mondays. I'll round it up to a Thursday. We can pretend together, guys. So on Monday, the 30th of June, tune in at the same time and we'll be going live. If you don't want to trust me with my dates or times, which I wouldn't, that's why you should follow it on Twitch because you get notified when we go live. Any final words before we close out the show?
No, I'm all good. See you on Thursday.
Hashtag Big Boss. From you?
And thank you, of course, for participating and being part of our show. It always makes my job fun.
And there we go. So, guys, we've had a great time. Hopefully you have as well. Make sure you tune back in on Thursday or Monday. If you don't believe me, which will be actually Monday, make sure you follow on Twitch. We'll be there, and hopefully you'll be as well.